There's a specific kind of woman who never chases anyone. She doesn't double text. She doesn't rearrange her weekend around someone who hasn't confirmed. She doesn't turn silence into a puzzle she has to solve. Most people read that as guarded or playing hard to get. But psychologists who study this pattern see something different, and it has almost nothing to do with how much she cares. Attachment researchers have traced this back to childhood. The framework was built by psychiatrist John Bowlby and later expanded by Mary Ainsworth, and it explains why some people tolerate ambiguity calmly, while others spiral the moment a reply is late. People with an anxious attachment style tend to tolerate the uncertainty of an undefined relationship while quietly hoping it becomes something more, and that ambiguity often makes them analyze every message more, not less. A woman who doesn't chase isn't lower interest. She's simply not running on that wiring. One chartered psychologist who works with clients on this exact pattern has noticed something else in her clinic. Chasing behaves a lot like a dopamine loop. The more you chase, the more you want to chase. There's no finish line that satisfies it. In her experience, when chasing shows up inside a relationship, it's rarely a sign of balance. It usually means the dynamic is uneven and that at least one person has stopped recognizing their own worth. Here's what's actually running underneath the calm. 1. Her self-worth was never on loan from his response. An unanswered text quietly asks a second question for most people. Does this mean something about me? She's already separated those two things. His slow reply is information about his day, not a referendum on her value. 2. She's learned that pursuit and self-respect don't always fit in the same room. One widely shared relationship essay puts it simply. A relationship built entirely on one person's effort isn't balance. It's imbalance wearing a nicer name. She's seen what happens when she does all the giving and he does the receiving. Over time, it wears down more than the relationship. 3. She'd rather know the truth than manufacture hope. Writers on dating psychology describe this as the uncertainty principle in relationships. When someone goes quiet, the instinct is to chase the why and the how, because certainty relieves discomfort. She's learned to sit with not knowing instead of chasing an answer that isn't coming. 4. She's already watched what overinvestment does to attraction. Not from a book, from experience. She's been the woman who showed up too early, too eager, and watched interest cool the moment there was nothing left to wonder about her. This isn't detachment, it's recalibration. Here's the part that gets misread from the outside. All 4 of those are about her relationship with herself, not with him, which is exactly why it reads as confidence, even though confidence was never the actual goal. It's a side effect. That's also why it's so hard to fake. You can copy the behavior without doing the internal work underneath it, and it usually shows. The version of not chasing that comes from real self-worth feels calm. The version that's just performed detachment feels like withholding, and most people can sense the difference. Some women try to flip this into a strategy. Act like you don't care and he'll chase you. That misses the mechanism entirely. It's not the not chasing that's attractive, it's the not needing that's attractive. If you're performing indifference while quietly checking his last scene every 10 minutes, you haven't built the thing that made this work in the first place. So if you've ever wondered why some women seem completely unbothered by uncertainty in dating, it's rarely because they don't care. It's because somewhere along the way, they stopped needing the uncertainty resolved in order to feel like they were still worth choosing. That's not a trick. That's just what it looks like when your sense of self isn't sitting in someone else's inbox, waiting on a reply.